My Little Everdell was published in 2022 by Starling Games, designed by James and Clarissa Wilson. It was illustrated by Andrew Bosley. Starling Games provided this in exchange for an honest review. In this worker placement game, 1 to 4 players collect resources to gather critters and places to host the best parades in the forest. Players complete 12 turns over 4 rounds. On a turn, place an animal friend on an open board spot or one of your drafted red cards. Most spots provide resources. The top 3 are always open and provide players with one of the resources: resin, twigs, or berries. At the beginning of the round, the 4 resource dice are rolled and placed. These provide more resources, but spots are first come, first served. Some dice faces even provide point tokens. After placing a friend, pay a card's cost to place it by your home board. The 5 card types are distinguished by a different color and icon. Green cards provide resources and are activated when played and at the beginning of each round. Blue cards activate after specific actions or provide discounts for other cards. Tan cards activate when played. Red cards provide an exclusive friend placement spot. Purple cards award you endgame points. A critter replace icon is in the top left corner. Play cards to fulfill Parade Token's goal, 5 places, 1 of each colored symbol, and so on. Once achieved, take the highest remaining Parade Token of that type. Each token type can only be gained once. At the end, gain a point for every 2 unspent resources. Next, score purple cards, then card token points. The highest total wins. To break it down, gather resources, play cards, and host the best parades. That's My Little Everdell. Our games of My Little Everdell, including Sediment Takedown, have averaged an hour. Once comfortable, this can easily be played in under 45 minutes. We had one game take just over 30 minutes. This takes up a fair amount of space. It's not the center board as much the growing player areas that are about the size of a placemat. With 3 or 4 players, you'll need about 3 by 4 feet. There's a bit of reading, but much of the cards are simple icons. If a kid can handle that, they can probably handle gameplay even if they won't be very competitive against older players. The challenge is maximizing every possible point in this short time frame. I'll talk more about this later, but by 9 or 10, I'll think kids will prefer standard Everdell. Just like Everdell, My Little Everdell has beautiful art and wood maples. Andrew Bosley's art is incredibly cute. Icons are clear, and there aren't so many that young or new gamers will be overwhelmed. The resources are of very high quality, but berries are tricky to pick up. Little fingers may have an easier time to get bits from these small bowls, but it's just easier to keep resources on the table. The rules are generally clear, and play is simple. Teaching players with a bit of worker placement experience will likely take about 10 minutes. For kids or my grandma, expect 15 minutes and a turn or 2. Speaking of grandma, she did well in her learning game, 1 point behind me. Despite the design goal and its length, the box size and shape prevent you from tossing this in your backpack and bringing anywhere. Perhaps the second edition will scrap the unnecessary crates and shrink the main board a bit to repackage things. There is no rules reference, and it would have been nice seeing as this is meant as an introductory game, even a single sheet with the round's flow. I mentioned family facts that cards don't have a lot of text. While true, players have 8 cards to choose from on their turn, to spend depending on a person's reading ability or, as we learned, table shape and where you're seated, expect game pace to be affected. There are many cards, but with a similar engine and the same parades, plays don't vary. I know this by design, but things got stale surprisingly quickly. By my 3rd play, I felt like I saw all this has to offer. Resource cards are very useful early when resources are scarce. If you get a point generating one, that's 4 points in the entire game. 1 or 2 activate a card again cards can make a player hard to stop. I don't mind the points from drafted dice, but that highlights a problem with player order. It rotates, but someone could benefit when they go first, yet when you're first, all 4 dice have the same face. Most turn order issues come down to randomness and lack of mitigation. Some people, kids and adults, could find that they're just going through motions and making the least bad choice each time. One of the most frustrating parts is how the cards come out. Let's say Mom goes first and grabs a die that lets her take one of the 2 cards she can afford. Next, Dad does the same. Now my options don't allow me to buy a card. With only 12 turns in the entire game, I'm behind my engine and chance to fulfill those valuable parades. My Little Everdell is a cute and simplified version of Everdell and is just as artistically charming as the original. It features set collection, worker placement, and tableau building, but I'm not sure of its staying power. I recommended Everdell for strong reading 8-year-olds and older. There's more reading and it is more complex, but it's not a gigantic step up. I read KTPG's Creature Comforts last year, another worker placement game in an adorable woodland environment. That game sits between My Little Everdell and Everdell in complexity and my personal enjoyment. Its bigger problem is it's too long for what it is. My Little Everdell may still be a good fit for those looking for a short game that introduces common game mechanisms, and it certainly helps that it's very attractive, but for around $40 Canadian, it's hard to recommend unless you check a few specific boxes.